right? And if we look at the Mahayana paths, now it's unpacked into 5 paths, path of accumulation and so forth, to fully achieve, to enter into that first Mahayana path of accumulation, small, medium, and great stage. There's some debate about it. It tends to be very scholarly debate. But I'm convinced, based on the teachings I've received, the texts that I've studied, that, and we're following Mahayana now.
Yeah.
So the question of to become a bodhisattva, not to simply cultivate bodhicitta and it arises and passes away, but to become a bodhisattva, the hallmark of that, for which I think there's no debate really, is that this current of bodhicitta, the spirit of awakening, the bodhisattva's aspiration, arises spontaneously, effortlessly, and for that to arise in such a way, it's called uncontrived. So it becomes really your core, like your North Star, your core opus mandara, operating system, what have you. That must be backed with shamatha.
Oh, so you're saying shamatha, bodhicitta, real, genuine bodhicitta requires shamatha
Irreversible
first.
bodhicitta, which means you've achieved the small stage of the Mahayana path accumulation. This is technical talk. But, you know, many of us who've been practicing, cultivating bodhicitta, some semblance of it at least arises, and then we get petty, or we fall back into self-centeredness, or we get irritable and grumpy and kind of elbow our way through humanity, poking people in the eyeball. And bodhicitta, and then we kind of restore it again. But for it to become your baseline,
Main mind,
your main mind, then to mind me just conceptually, imagine that your mind is still heavily subject to the 5 obscurations. Let's run through them quickly. The 5 obscurations mean, first of all, hedonic fixation. It's not just sensual, but it's fame, it's wealth, it's notoriety, it's sensual, it's all that kind of stuff, and thinking that's going to make me happy. That's the first of the obscurations. Insofar as you're focused there, you're not going to discover the inner nature of your own mind. The second one is ill will, malevolence, malice, enmity. That's going to block you. The third one is laxity and dullness. They're going to shroud you. The fourth one is excitation and anxiety. They're going to bump you all over the place. And the fifth one is an interesting one, is afflictive uncertainty. Waffling, wavering, not be able to get totally your act together and carry through. Well, consider that insofar as your mind is still prone to those, that's going to be a very poor, faulty, defective vehicle for bodhicitta. It's going to keep on undermining. Ill will is going to torpedo bodhicitta. And the other ones will as well. So the Buddha said, and I can quote him here pretty close, he said, for a person whose mind is still dominated by or conditioned by the 5 obscurations, such a person is, see if I can get it right, is in debt. Like this is debt you can't pay off, like debtor's prison kind of debt. You're in debt, you're sick, you're in bondage, like chains, you're enslaved, and you're lost in a desert track. Now those are his metaphors. Add those up, put those into your imagination and see what that would feel like. You've got debt you'll never pay off, you're sick, you're in handcuffs and leg irons, and you're enslaved, and somebody's just dropped you in the middle of the Sahara. Have a nice day. That is, you're one sick cookie. And to think that you can have a mind like that, and oh, by the way, you're a bodhisattva too. And bodhicitta is just arising, streaming. It is your mind. That just doesn't make any sense to me. You have to have a superbly healthy mind. The Buddha has just raised the bar on what is mental health. And a person who is truly mentally healthy is a person who has achieved shamatha. And the rest of us, not quite there yet.